So, what is literature? I mean, it sounds like a super simple question, right? The kind of thing you'd expect on the first day of English class. But, the answer is way more complicated than you'd think, and it's changed a lot over the years. So, let's really dig in and figure out what we're talking about when we say literature.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to make a really important distinction. There's literature with a small l, and that's basically any writing. We're talking newspaper articles, the instructions on a cereal box, whatever. But then there's literature with a capital L. Now that's the special stuff, right? That smaller, more exclusive group of texts that we all agree are worth studying. So the million-dollar question is, how does a book get into that VIP club?
All right, what makes something great anyway? People have been wrestling with this for ages, trying to nail down a solid definition. But honestly, it's a super slippery idea. Let's look at a few of the ways we've tried to tackle this. For a long time, the go-to answer was the literary canon. That official seeming list of books that a bunch of experts decided were the most important. But that's a really problematic way to do it. For one, the canon was, for a very long time, dominated by a very specific kind of writer. Plus, what do you do with new books? And get this, a book like Moby Dick, which we all think of as a classic now, was a total flop when it came out. So yeah, the canon? Not exactly a reliable guide.
So if we can't rely on some official list, maybe the answer is inside the book itself. The critic Derek Attridge had a great take on this. He suggested looking for three things. First, is it inventive and original? Second, can you feel the unique vision of the writer coming through? And third, and this is a big one, does it have this sense of otherness that kind of shifts your perspective and makes you see the world differently? See, it's not just about the plot, it's about how it's told and what it does to you.
And that idea, what literature does to us, that's huge. So let's pivot a little. Instead of trying to define what literature is, let's ask what it's for. What's the point? What do we as readers get out of it?
Okay, check this out. At first glance, this sounds totally nuts, right? We all think of reading a huge book as, well, a huge time suck. But this quote is getting at something really profound. Literature is actually an amazing shortcut. It lets you absorb lifetimes of experience without having to live through all of it yourself.
And that's where this concept of literature as a reality simulator for your brain comes in. Think about it. It's a totally safe way to experience, well, pretty much anything. You can see what it's like to lead a country or make a terrible, life-changing mistake, all from your couch. It literally forces you to walk in someone else's shoes, which is the best way to build empathy. And maybe most importantly, it gives us the words to make sense of our own messy, complicated feelings.
So we know what it does for us, individually. But what about for society as a whole? Well, the purpose of literature for everyone has changed a ton over time. What we expect from our stories has evolved right along with us.
If you rewind a few hundred years, a lot of the time, the goal was pretty simple: entertainment and money. I mean, Shakespeare wasn't writing plays for a college syllabus, he was trying to sell tickets. But then, fast forward to the 19th century, and the whole mindset shifts. Suddenly, literature is seen as this tool for making people better, morally, spiritually, you name it. And today, the purpose is even bigger. We want literature to say something important about our society. And, get this, to actually change us as people when we read it.
Okay, so after all that, where do we land? What's the final answer? It's pretty clear it's not some simple checklist. The best way to think about it really isn't as a category at all, but as a relationship.
So what kind of relationship are we talking about? Well, literature with a capital L, it isn't a thing, it's an event. It's what happens in that magic space between the world it was written in, the unique way the text is put together, and most importantly, you, the reader, being open to what it's asking of you. Think about it. A book is just ink on paper until you pick it up. Literature is that spark, that living moment when all three of those pieces click together.
And that's the thing. You can't just define literature from a distance. The only way to really get it, to understand what it is and what it can do, is to just read, to experience it over and over again. So really, the only question that matters is, what story are you going to dive into next?